What is this long glass tube, you may ask?
In the ant-keeping world, this is a test tube setup. In the wild, when queen ants, after they mate, they will dig a tunnel and seal themselves off, and they will make themselves a home, basically like this, which is the fawning chamber where the queen will raise her young and stay until the first few workers come, which is known as the nanitics, which will help find food for the colony. Alright, moving on. So, many of us ant keepers love this because of its simplicity and also of its price. Well, how do we make these? Well, today, for all of you beginners out there, it doesn't matter if you're very experienced or if you're just an amateur starting out, this is a must-have. So today I'll be showing you how to do exactly that. Here is a few things that you will need. First off, a test tube. I like to use a test tube that is 20 millimeters in diameter and 150 millimeters in length. But the size I like to use 20 millimeters because it is easily accessible for many queens, and it's also really convenient to put in many outworlds, which will be going in another video. So, first, you will need a test tube, but it doesn't matter what size. Actually, I'll go get my other bigger test tube. I have test tubes like this, which can perfectly work, but I don't really like to use them because the top is very big, but it can still work. This is really big. You can see the size difference there and the length difference too. But other than that, we also have a few more materials. So, 2 balls of cotton. Mostly the cotton will be stuck together like this. It's gonna be huge. So just break them in half and then you can get these 2 beautiful pieces of cotton. And then what I like to use is a glass of water. I'm not sure if you can see, but yeah, it's a glass of water. Some of it you just need a glass of water, and very importantly, you need a stick. Basically anything that's elongated. So basically these tweezers work as long as I push them together. So yeah, that's about the materials part. So let's get started.
Please note that before you start this test tube, remember to keep all of your equipment and your hands clean. This is to prevent mold outbreaks, which is deadly for your ants.
So after I have washed my hands and used hand sanitizers, let's get started. So for the test tube, I preferably like it halfway up. Some people do it to around 1/3, but really I just like to do one half. Yeah. So you take your glass of water. Here's how I do it. There's also other ways, like you can use a funnel for more accuracy, but here's how I do it. So I take this tube and then I use water, right? And I just pour it in there. But I want to do this in the sink just in case some water gets out. So let me just switch over. So alright, now we're at this point. So take your test tube and your water. So then now I'm going to pour the water into the test tube. And don't worry if there's a little bit too much. I recommend using a dropping pipette. So you see, this is a little bit too much. You can pour it out, but remember to pour it inside the water container, because if you pour it out, you can't get it back. So I'm just gonna do that again until I am content with it. I hope you can see. So then, let me readjust. Yep. Alright. I'm happy at about here, so I'm gonna get my cotton real quick. Got my cotton. So now you want to take one of these pieces of cotton and then you want to put it down into the test tube right around here. Then you take your stick or whatever, and then if you're using tweezers, remember, keep them closed, because if you open them, it can damage the test tube. So I am going to put this down. I'm going to push this down. You can readjust some of it. I like to do that because it's fun. Yeah, so I'm going to put it around here. And then once you're about here, remember, you want to do it quickly so air bubbles cannot enter or escape. And then you want it to be around here. You want some water to come up because then the ants can drink the water. But if you just do it about like here or something, here, right? The ants can't access the water. So here goes nothing. So yeah, that is about it. You can see there's no air bubbles. So after this, you want to pour the excess water out. So here's how I do it. I just do it like this because it's convenient, but you can have other ways too. And that's about it. And if you're trying to catch queen ants, you get the other piece of cotton, this thing, and then you just put it on top. Put that other piece of cotton on top, and then yeah, but make sure it's not too tight where air cannot enter or escape. But make sure it's not too loose, because then the queen ant might shove herself in there and she can suffocate. Why is a test tube setup more superior than a formicarium or anything in that matter? So the reason why I as an ant keeper love test tubes is because they are very simple and cheap, like what I said earlier in the video. But it can also provide a long-term place for ants. Like this thing, if I say for a small colony like fire ants or any species of ants, like for example my messer ants, it can probably hold around 40-50 workers until I need to move them. And this is also very beneficial. So yeah, this is a very beneficial setup for a ant colony, to put it in simple terms. To prove the effectiveness of the test tube, this is my messer colony, Messer Structor. So shout out to the Ant Shop for all of this. So yeah, shout out to them. They're really amazing. So here's the test tube. So that's the colony inside. You can see there's a bunch of workers, and it's still very effective to this day. So yeah. Well, you may ask, why is there a piece of foil on the test tube? Well, I like it because ants like the dark, and it provides a really convenient way for me to still interact with the colony when not disturbing them too much. So you should subscribe if you like this kind of content. I think to subscribe, so there should be a little square button. So around here or maybe here, it's very tiny. So yeah, do that real quick. It helps me out, and yeah, peace.